Today we're going to talk about sex. Hey, please don't stop watching. This one not Kama Sutra 101, huh? This one, sex education. You know, since Malaysia still don't have sex ed, I thought we could start learning about it bit by bit. And today we're going to focus on sexual consent. Consent. You know, I'm just going to repeat that because it seems to be a word that most people don't understand. Oh, if you're watching this with kids, don't worry, we're going to keep it educational, okay? And I'm going to use some makanan as an example. And no, it's not going to be bananas or terong. Okay, let's start with the basics. What is sexual consent? Sexual consent is the voluntary agreement to engage in sexual activity without abuse, coercion, or exploitation of power or authority. Consent can be revoked at any time. So the legal age of consent for sex in Malaysia is 16. If you or the person you're engaging in sexual activity with is below the age of 16, you or the other person cannot give sexual consent. It's illegal. Even if you say, yes, I want to have sex, or feeling enthusiastic about it, it will still be considered statutory rape. Oh, remember, sexual consent is a must regardless of the relationship you share with someone. Yes, even in marriage too, that's spousal consent. Being married to someone doesn't equate to you having lifelong consent for sex from your spouse. But under the Malaysian law, marital rape aka spousal rape is legal. Okay, if this is not getting through to you, no worries. Let's story tell a bit lah. Kita Malaysians kan suka makan and bagi makan. So think of sex like inviting someone over to your house. They come into your house, you all popet. Then you decide to offer them some food. Let's say nasi lemak. And then they're like, wah, nasi lemak. Okay lah, can. Then you bawa and hidang. Let's say they take a bite and then suddenly they make this face, you know, macam they're not enjoying it anymore. And they don't even get to the sambal. Then they change their minds already lah, huh? They're like, actually, I don't want this anymore. And no longer want to habiskan the nasi lemak that they thought they wanted earlier. All sounds perfectly reasonable and normal, right? You know, people come to your house, you offer them food, and they're like, okay, sure. And then, you know, take a bite, and they're like, don't want lah, full already, or just don't feel like it, you know, normal kan? But sometimes, despite not wanting the nasi lemak, people will be like, ayo, tak sedar hati lah, you know, you'll be kurang ajar, or maybe the host will get mad if I suddenly don't want the food, you know? So they will reluctantly continue eating it. But you know, decent human beings, good hosts would have observed that and be like, ayo, tak payah lah, don't worry about it, you don't have to finish it, just put it aside. But some hosts, they'll be like, I bawa all this makanan already, you asked for it earlier, so eat lah, finish it. That's wrong and also illegal in the context of sexual activities. With that, note to self and reminder to all, it's perfectly okay to say no when you no longer want the nasi lemak. If your partner isn't reading your body language or stopping to check how you're feeling, vocalize your discomfort. But of course, this is easier said than done. Which is why understanding, respecting, and waiting for consent before moving forward is really important, unless you want to go to jail and die. This whole inviting people to your house and offering them nasi lemak, it's like going on a date, right? Everything's going great, and you know, you ask your date if they want to come back to your place, and they agree enthusiastically, and they're like, okay, yes, I want to hang out with you. You're flirting, maybe even sex was mentioned, and maybe they said yes or said maybe, or just, you know, smiled or flirted back in response. But once they go back to your place or you go back to their place and sex is on the table, they can change their mind. But maybe they can't say it out loud because they're afraid or feeling unsafe or worried about upsetting you. But even if they don't say it out aloud, you can definitely sense it from their body language and change in mannerisms. Someone who wants to have sex with you with voluntary consent will be enthusiastic all the way, not withdrawn or unsure. Or if they're telling you no, then obviously they don't want to have sex with you already lah. Joe, wait, sexual consent only needed for penetrative sex ke? Touch, kiss, all need consent ah? Yes, sexual consent is needed for all sexual activities. It is a must. And that includes oral and anal sex, kissing, genital touching, and yes, hugging. I want to hold hand, also need to ask consent. No, like she like me, what? Well, yes, your partner or date may not be comfortable with that. When you ask, you find out. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, and if things escalate, you go to jail. Okay, I'm gonna tell you 4 more important things to remember about sexual consent before we wrap up. Number 1, consent can be withdrawn at any time, even during sex. Just because I said yes when you offered me the nasi lemak doesn't mean I have to eat it when you give it to me or finish eating it. And just because I ate your nasi lemak once doesn't mean I want to eat it again. Number 2, if someone is intoxicated, unconscious, high or asleep, they cannot give consent. You shouldn't stuff your nasi lemak down the throat of someone yang tengah tidur, drunk or high. Number 3, you cannot force consent. The word consent itself means to give permission in order for something to happen. You can't force or manipulate someone into eating your nasi lemak. Number 4, don't assume someone's playing hard to get. If someone looks or sounds like they're not into the act, they're not into it. No, not interested, maybe, meh, silence, basically everything but an enthusiastic yes is a hard no. Not everyone wants to eat your nasi lemak. Sexual consent isn't confusing at all, to be honest. It's about listening and paying attention to your partner or partners to see how they feel about things. Key here is to be respectful of other people's boundaries and bodies and always ask. Even if someone had consented to having sex with you earlier and you're halfway through the act, but if your partner is looking like they no longer want it, stop! Ask if they're okay or if they want to continue. Simple. Consent is sexy. Rape? Sexual assault? No, not at all. If you've ever been sexually assaulted, it's not your fault. No matter what you were doing, who you were with, or what you were wearing. If you did not willingly, voluntarily consent to any sexual activity, it's sexual assault. The fault lies solely with the perpetrator. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.